Reason why you see a lot of the Republican politicians attempting to whitewash the insurrection is because they understand that come 2022, they have lost all of their real talking points. They have lost the patriotic talking point. They have lost the social justice talking point. They have lost the criminal justice talking point. And they've lost the we stand for justice, we stand for law and order talking point. If the insurrection remains the insurrection effected by those who supported Donald Trump, they've lost those narratives that we ought to pick up and put in ads, not only about the insurrection, but about them not voting a penny for every single American, or for 85% of Americans. They denied access to a stimulus, a necessary stimulus, to millions of Americans. They said no. They also to remove kids out of poverty. They also said no to feed the starving. They also said no to allow your police officers to remain employed to keep you protected. They also said no to your fire department, who need the funds, given that the tax base for many areas would have been lowered. They said no to all of that, not because they understood it wasn't needed. They would say because a recovery was coming. No. They would give you many reasons why they believe that they shouldn't do these things. But you ought to know your talking points well. Let everyone know that had it not been for Democrats controlling the Senate, you would have had less police officers. You would have had less firemen. You would have had less food for the starving people in your states. You would have had less money circulating in your state. Mitch McConnell's state has 4.4 million people. Of those 4.4 million people, 4 million will receive funds from this bill. I repeat, a state with 4.4 million people, Mitch McConnell's Kentucky, 4 million people will get physical payments and support from the American Rescue Plan. And he said no. He's not running in 2022. But it's important that everybody here tell their Republican brothers and sisters, absent having a Democratic Senate, a Democratic President, and a Democratic House, you would not have had the recovery we are about to engage on. These are not questions. You don't have to argue about these issues when you're talking to your relatives. You don't need to get into a discussion. You just need to say, show them the votes. This is a bill. This is what the bill does. You have the money in your checking account. You also see your friends who were on food stamps that lost it continue to get it. You also see your relatives in Appalachia now get support for their addictions, now get support for their kids who are living in the trailer parks. My daughter went through these areas and she couldn't believe what she saw in the Appalachian areas of Ohio, West Virginia, and these other places. Good people just misled by a destructive right-wing media that, as I've shown you several times, their sole method of fame is lying to people who have put their trust in them. And what you have to do, brothers and sisters that are listening to me, other than sharing this and moving this along, is letting your folks understand that they've been lied to, but you don't have to get into a fight about it. Just let them know. These are the votes of the Republicans. These are the votes of the Democrats. And this is what you have in your checking account. This is what your kids have. A meal they didn't have before. That is all we got to do. And the next thing, I want you to add one other thing to the narrative. I want you to remember to tell your right-wing brothers and sisters, your Republican brothers and sisters, that when they go into that voting booth, they don't have to tell anybody who they voted for. They don't. Just tell them, vote their pocketbook, vote the interest of their family, vote these issues. And if you want to come out of that thing and said, I voted a straight Republican ticket, feel free to do so. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.